This week, I want to talk about the two trips that I took this summer. I had a weekend in Asheville and a week at a lake house in Idaho with my family. And I worked while on both of those trips, which, before you think, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. Why would you want to work while you were on vacation? This is why I love having an online tutoring business. Seriously. I love the flexibility. I never am prevented from taking a trip with my family or with my husband or even a solo trip if I want to and still work. I'm not stopped because of work. I have complete flexibility. Nobody owns my hours except me. I don't have to ask permission. I can just live. If you've been thinking about getting into online tutoring or you want to grow your business and make more money, make really good money, let's talk about it. I'm Daisy Luce. I help others build a flexible, profitable online tutoring business like me, specifically by specializing in a high demand tutoring niche. Welcome to the Tutor Life. So, we went to Asheville at the beginning of the summer in June, just my husband and I. And we got to the hotel. It was just for a long weekend, but we got to the hotel and I immediately set up the room to work. I got out my iPad. There was a beautiful brick wall behind me. I had a huge window with great light coming in. You can even see here. Look at this ring light. It's like it was meant for online content. It was beautiful. The room was so fun to be in and just being in a different place, a unique place. So I set up my iPad and like I said, I had a couple hours of work I needed to do with students, but my husband had planned a work call at the same time. So he hopped on his call and he could just do that while he walked around the city. So he left, he went walking, and I stayed in the room because it made sense for the two of us. So I had 2 hours, two clients, and I just sat there, enjoyed my time in a new space, worked with students who I absolutely adore. I love all the students that I work with. It doesn't feel like something I'm dreading or anything like that. I just got to like help them, chat with them, work hard with them for that time we were together. And then when I was done, we were done. My husband and I met back up. We went out to a nice dinner and we had the rest of the day to ourselves. The next day, we started the day off with an e-bike tour. It was so fun. If you've never done an e-bike tour, let me just highly recommend it. So we started in the art district down by the river, and then we rode through downtown, uh, taking in all the architecture and making little stops along the way to hear about some of the architecture that is really interesting to me and my husband. And then we continued on. We ended up, I don't know if you know Asheville or anything about it, but there's this Grove Park Inn way up on the hill. That's where we ended up. And because these were e-bikes, it was so nice to, even though we were going uphill the whole time, you could pedal if you wanted to, but if you needed a break, you could just have the bike do it for you. And it was amazing. Look at this view. This was so fun. Such a fun activity. Then we circled back. We went back down to the river where we started. And then we had an amazing lunch down there in the art district. And then after that, I needed to go work for a couple hours. Well, I'm part of a co-working club in the city that I live in. In fact, oddly enough, the club is at the end of my street. And so I could just walk down to this co-working club. When I say club, it's basically like I don't know if you've seen these before in your cities, but it's an office space for people like me who work at home, but maybe want to get out and work somewhere else. And I just like to go down there. This one particularly is set up so that it looks like a hotel lobby slash coffee shop slash amazing Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Well, they are a chain and they have different locations, and there happened to be one right next to the hotel we were staying at, So I popped in there to work for a couple more hours. Mostly there, I was just brainstorming and catching up on some paperwork. And then my husband had a little bit more work to do too, so I had him come along with me because you can take guests to the club. And it was just a nice little work session that doesn't feel like work because you're in a new town, you're in a new location, you're just working a couple hours and then you're going to go live it up. And so that's what we did. And there's something about traveling that when I travel to a new city, when I'm driving in the car, when I'm just exploring new places, it gets my brain going where being somewhere new, it's my best thinking about business. I don't know why. I guess, I mean, I love what I do so much. And when I have clarity and I have time to think, like I said, when I'm driving, it happens almost every time when I travel. So I love to have these little brainstorming sessions built in. It's just a lot of fun. Then our second trip we took in July, and that was a family vacation to Idaho. Now, we live all the way on the East Coast, so that was a pretty far trip for us. We do try to get out there quite a bit. My husband's family lives out in the Northwest, and so we try to get out there and go to a lake house cabin out that way and meet up with everybody. But getting there is a full travel day. So I did not book any work or any clients that day on purpose. So there was no stress trying to arrive at a certain time. I think I learned my lesson last spring break when we went to Mexico. I was working the day we were traveling. And by the time, I don't know if you saw this video or not, but by the time we got into the hotel, it just everything had gone wrong that day trying to get there. And I had 5 minutes to sit down, get connected to Wi Fi or my hotspot, figure it out, and hop on a call with a client. So I did not do that this time. Instead, I did still want to work while we were traveling. It's, a full day and I love to get some stuff done and knock things out. So I worked on some answer keys that I had just made for some new worksheets that I was working on, as well as the answer keys, just double checking everything for an app that I just built. If you haven't used if you're not doing that yet in your business or you're not even thinking about it, no big deal. These were just things I wanted to play around with. I sometimes use my business as a creative outlet, and so making these worksheets in this app is just something fun I wanted to do, and I enjoyed it, so that's what I worked on while we were traveling. Once we got to the lake house, though, to the cabin, it was family time first. Of course, we hung out with everybody, we settled in, no work at all the rest of that day, as I said. But the next morning, I did have 2 hours of face-to-face client time. But guess what? We're on the West Coast, they're on the East Coast. I made sure I scheduled it earlier in the day. So West Coast time, I was on my call at 7 a.m. It was great. Nobody else was awake yet. Not my teenagers weren't. My husband did get up and leave the room to go have his coffee. He's an early riser anyway. And I just hung out in the room. I set up a little desk in my room with just a cardboard box I had found. You can't see it when I'm online. I set my iPad up on it and I had this beautiful view right outside the door of the entire lake. You can see it here of the lake and the boat just right outside my window while I worked. And I had my cute, cozy coffee mug with me, my hot coffee. It was just so cozy. And again, I love the students I work with. So seeing their faces that day, working with them through the things we were working on, it's light work. It's so easy. The next day, some of my family was going hiking in the morning, but I decided I didn't want to chance it if we ended up going out and staying longer than I wanted to. So I stayed closer to the cabin and I went on my own little hike, which is one of my favorite hikes. There is this path that goes right along the water's edge, but kind of gains elevation. You can see here. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I love to take this hike every time we're there, and it goes all the way down to the cute little coffee shop, little Water's Edge to the little town store down there. I sat there, enjoyed the breeze off the water for a bit before I walked back, put in a podcast, got into the business frame of mind on my way back, and then had my session when I got back to the cabin. And actually, it was really nice because nobody was back yet from the hike. It was just me, so it was pretty quiet there. And it was great. After that session, though, I was done working. This is a family vacation. It's not like I try to work 40 hours a week, but I don't mind fitting in some students so that our entire schedule isn't disrupted and the progress they're making isn't disruptive. I've got students trying to wrap up college essays or get ready for a SAT or ACT test in the summer, specifically in the summer. That's a big thing I do. And taking a whole week off can just be a lot. So it's just works out really well for everybody if I just fit some of these into vacation. Not to mention, that does also make some of the vacation become a tax write-off. And not to get into tax advice, you'll have to talk to your own tax advisor about this. But when you do work a certain amount of hours on vacation, there are perks to that and write-offs that you can do. And that's definitely another reason that I enjoy doing this, because then my travels actually like end up being a business expense and save me money in the long run. So it's just fun to do. I like being my own boss when I just genuinely really really love owning my own business, being my own boss, not having to answer to anyone, setting my own schedule, and working with students and clients that I just love to see. It is the best job or anything I've ever done. And that's why I'm here. I just want to share what it looks like behind the scenes in a summer when I am taking trips and vacations. So, again, if you are thinking about becoming an online tutor, maybe you're in teaching right now, like I was, and you're thinking of quitting or retiring, but you want to still make some money on the side and you're not quite sure how to do it yet. That's how I started too. I was in teaching and then I moved into tutoring. And if I had had somebody to guide me, I would have done this a lot faster and revved up my business a lot faster because I would have seen the potential if I had had somebody else walking me through it. And so that's why I'm here. I want to talk to you about your business, your ideas, what you want to do moving forward, wherever you are. If you already are tutoring and you want to be able to find more skills to tutor at a very peak price, I'm here. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep discussing and let's keep exploring this tutor life together some more. If you want more information about exactly how I run my tutoring business, a peek behind the curtain, I will put a link below to my guidebook. You're welcome to grab it if you want to check it out. And if you just want to keep following me here and let's keep discussing online tutoring, we can do that too. I think next week I'm going to walk through my actual numbers for the summer, what I made, what I spent, what my tutoring looked like, and how I got here to this point by tutoring the exact subjects that I do so that my summer tutoring doesn't drop off. If anything, it picks up. And I am now having to turn people down. Unfortunately, I hate that, but it's a good thing to have. It's a good problem to have too, right? When you're completely booked out. So let's keep talking about tutoring together. And until then, happy tutoring, friend.